Are you a cult follower? This question may offend many of us. For the term cult is usually spoken in negative terms, referring to groups involved in propagating fanatical or extreme beliefs. In this sense, cult following is considered dangerous to individual freedom and positive personal growth. But still, a lot of us end up in a cult, mostly unaware of this fact. Then, the question is how to know if we are in a cult. In order to understand a cult as a cult, we need to be aware of some common traits of the cults. Quite often, cults are led by leaders who possess a magnetic personality that attracts and inspires devotion in followers. They can be charming, persuasive, and expert at reading and influencing people. Many cult leaders are narcissistic. They exhibit a grandiose sense of self-importance, a need for excessive admiration, and a lack of empathy for others. Normally, cult leaders are skilled manipulators. They exploit followers' vulnerabilities, fears, and desires in order to control them. They typically exhibit authoritarianism, demanding absolute loyalty and obedience from their followers. More importantly, cult leaders often claim to special knowledge, divine insight, or supernatural abilities. Through such claims, they position themselves as unique and irreplaceable. You may wonder how anyone gets into a cult. Generally, we start off in response to adverse life situations or being curious about the messages of the cult or attracted by the personality of cult leaders. Initially, maybe the intention is to enrich our life stories or to find meaning to puzzling twists and turns in our lives or to deal with painful emotions or to explore mystical elements or simply to find place in a community and experience the joy of being part of something bigger than ourselves. At times though, even social environments and peer pressure can push us into cults. Regardless of the reasons for the entry into a cultish world, we are bound to go through personality changes to a lesser or greater degree. Let us see how it happens. Over time, we get woven deep into the fabric of the cult. We begin to experience that our identity is intertwined with it. We may develop extreme loyalty towards the cult's philosophy. We tend to accept whatever the cult leader says. Gradually, we lose the ability to think independently and critically evaluate information, and we will become deeply entrenched in the belief systems of the cult. If we come across ideas or evidence that contradict this belief system, it makes us uncomfortable. Whenever it happens, we try to rationalize or dismiss these ideas and evidence in order to feel comfortable again. We may also start hating those, including family members and friends, who do not share our devotion to the cult, because cults often foster us versus them mindset among their followers. In order to align with the philosophy of the cult, we may even adopt new habits, rituals, or lifestyles. At the end, we may find ourselves completely dependent on the cult for support, particularly emotional support. In some cases, we may have to face exploitation, financial or otherwise. There can also be demand for personal sacrifices. Most cult leaders want their followers to be dependent on them as long as they are able to serve them in some way. The question is, what happens when one can no longer offer any service? Before it is too late, we need to ask ourselves this question: am I becoming a better version of myself? Developing objectivity? Becoming more tolerant and less hateful of people and ideas I do not agree with? Emotionally depending less on external factors? And an additional line for spiritual speakers: am I becoming increasingly stronger by deepening my self-knowledge? And is the pure consciousness becoming a felt reality for me? If an honest answer to these questions is negative, we better look out for an exit route. Acknowledging that we are in a cult is the first step to independence. Once we realize that we are in a cult, it is most important to strengthen our critical thinking. We may begin by critically evaluating the ideas and practices of the cult. At the same time, we may gradually disengage ourselves from the cult philosophy by reducing our participation in cult activities. Additionally, we should also engage ourselves in activities that promote independent thinking and self-reflection. At the same time, we should prioritize self-care and well-being with regular exercise, healthy eating, sufficient sleep, and mindfulness practices. In some cases, reaching out to friends or family members outside the cult for support and assistance may be required. In extreme cases, though, it may be necessary to prepare a safe exit plan. But one thing is certain, if we are convinced of the importance of the psychological independence, we will do whatever it takes to regain it. What do you think in this regard? Share it in the comment box below. Thank you for watching.